So anybody who owns these C5 Corvettes is starting to realize that they're getting a little bit old. So this one in particular is a 1999 model, and there's a lot of things I've had to replace on it just because the electronics go bad after so long. So one thing in particular that I want to kind of knock out on this video is to fix the driver information module on this thing. So here's an issue that I had, and there'll be a lot of people that think that it's one thing, but I troubleshooted it and it was the whole cluster was bad. So essentially my information center display on here was just automatically toggling through like the oil, temperature, transmission, etc. And then the module itself, I click on it, wouldn't do anything. So it was like the module itself right here was dead. So I figured that it would just be the module itself that was bad. So I replaced that, didn't fix it. So I did some research and I troubleshooted it the best that I could and realized that you got to replace the whole dang instrument cluster, or you can send it off and have it redone. Which, I got this instrument cluster for $200 off eBay, as where one of the little circuit replacement places would charge you probably $300 to $500 to replace and go through and then send it back. So I elected to take the cheaper route. One thing that you need to look out for is that you need to try to find a instrument cluster that is in close proximity to the mileage that you have on your car. So this particular vehicle has 38,000 miles on it, almost 39. And I did some digging and I took a little bit of time, but I was able to find this instrument cluster that had 38,700 miles. So I got really dang close on this within a few hundred miles. So it's not a big deal. So what I'm going to go through today is the walkthrough on how to install this thing and then put everything back together. So what you're going to find is that I have already disassembled the majority of this because I was replacing the HVAC head unit recently as well. So with this, it's going to be like a little walkthrough on how to completely remove the instrument cluster itself and then also put everything back together. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do to start this process is to remove the A-pillar here. It's clipped in. You can get a little plastic pry tool, or you can just get your fingers up in there and turn on white so we can see. You can get your fingers up on the top part of that thing and it's held in by clips, so you just gently remove it and then pull it right out. Super easy. You don't want to mar this thing up, so just set it to the side carefully. It's not in your way. After you've removed the A-pillar, it's going to expose a 7mm screw right there. You're going to want to take a socket and get that thing out. Be careful not to mar up your dash in the process. Once that's out, what it's going to do is allow this thing, the dash, to just be moved up a little bit. You're going to need this wiggle room to try to carefully get this thing out. So you'll see what I mean here in just a minute. Also, there's screws 1, 2 that you need to remove as well. That'll allow you to really get that top part peeled up. Now, this dash, it's like we talked about before, these cars are getting old. Some of these haven't had the luxury of being in a garage their entire lives, so you need to be sure that you kind of notice it'll kind of bend and crack and stuff like that. This dash is a little old, obviously, so we need to be careful that we don't push the limits of it too far and anything cracks or breaks. Right. So the next thing you need to do is remove this lower piece right here, okay? To do that, you are going to underneath here, and you'll see a couple screws that need to be taken out, okay? You're gonna wanna use a T10 Torx bit to get that started. Okay, after you get those bottom screws removed, you're gonna have to remove this piece too. Followed up by this one. I've already taken it out. It has to come out as a piece to get the whole center console out, but it's gonna be right there. You'll see that once you remove it, everything kind of gets loose over here. So you need to carefully just pop it. It doesn't take much, and it is gonna expose another screw in there. Undo that, and this whole piece will come right out, easy. You shouldn't have to pull on it. Just go ahead and get in here and gently unclip your trunk latch and your fog light. There's two other screws that you need to remove to make the instrument cluster free from the dash. Okay, we're gonna get under here. Let's see here, get a good angle at it. So you see that one right there's what we're going for. Then you come over to this side and get under there as well. And you will see dead ahead, that screw right there needs to be removed. Once you do that, the instrument cluster isn't going to be bolted in at all. You'll be able to manipulate and freely move it wherever you need to. Also, when this whole piece comes out as well, you're going to want to make sure that you remove this too. It gives you just a little bit more wiggle rooms for clearance for the instrument cluster when you go to remove it. Screws are out. Put your steering wheel to the lowest position that you can, okay? I'm gonna have to put the camera down for this, but what you're gonna see is that this instrument cluster is just freely sitting in there on both sides now. So you need to just kind of fish it out while carefully pulling up your dash and just working it out of there, okay? All right, so once you have the instrument cluster pulled out, you'll see this wire that's got a clip that rolls right into it, okay? So something to note is when you come up in here and grab this thing, it's super easy. It's connected right here. You just push in at this part right here, and then you might need to just give it a little pull and it'll come right out. Once that's unclipped, instrument cluster pulls right out, no problem. Now, something to note that if you have a model that has a heads-up display, this one doesn't, you're gonna have an additional, I wanna say that there's gonna be an additional piece that needs to be unclipped somewhere around here. Gotta kind of reverse the process now, you know. You just gotta finagle it back in there. It's easier if you wait till it's like half in like this, and then you could just reach in there and you could just kind of feel for it and then reconnect the instrument cluster. It's not a big deal after that. Make sure all these can get undone while you were setting it all in there, and then just carefully just work it back in there until it's reseated and the screw holes. So as luck would have it, when I went ahead and I installed this instrument cluster that I purchased, it was making a weird glitching noise in the speaker located back here, and it is extremely annoying. It kind of sounded like it was a short, just based on all the different noises it was making, but I'm gonna troubleshoot it a little bit and see by removing this piece. You're gonna notice that there are a couple different things you need to do. Phillips head screw, Phillips head screw, Phillips head screw, and another Phillips head screw, okay? Then you remove this piece right here very carefully. There is a plastic piece that's set over top of it. I've already removed it. Just pops right off, just be careful. Obviously, we're dealing with an old car here. Also, this connector pulls right out super easy. Okay, set it off to the side. Remove this piece from over here, disconnect it, and this piece from under here. Then this whole piece just comes unclipped. I just have to mess with it a little bit. You'll see I just took like a straight slot screwdriver and just popped these, and then this whole piece pops out and exposes the circuit board behind it. Once that piece is off, set it aside. Phillips head screw, another Phillips head screw. Do this to dispose of wire. I saw a lot of people online, you know, and this is like the lazy way to do it, but they just cut the wires of this thing, and you know, I don't know about that. First, I'm gonna just see if the speaker itself is bad. I'm just gonna unclip this, and then I will disassemble this because I know it was working in this before I took it out of the vehicle, and then we'll just see if it's a speaker that's bad. And if that's the case, easy fix. Plug it back in, screw a couple pieces back in, reclip everything back together, and then bam, reinstall back into the car. No problem. I think though that it's going to be some sort of ground issue, and maybe I have another issue with this instrument cluster, which really sucks because the module, when I plugged it in initially, was working perfectly fine, and I'll show you here in a minute. I may just remove the speaker and it does not have dinging noises, which, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing as long as everything works on this. You just won't have the, you know, get into the car and you turn the key and it starts beeping at you for a little while, and then all the little button noises when you hit the module. So that part would probably just be preferential. I personally don't mind because I know that everything else actually functions properly on this besides the little noise. So we'll probably just do that and see what happens. Back in, check to make sure the dimmer works. All the gauges seem to be working now. The main thing is this, is now all my buttons work like they're supposed to, which is great. You can pull right in here, get it all sorted out. Perfect. Now just to put it all back together, tighten it all up. And then we're gonna go through on how to get all this stuff sorted back out too. We're about to place this, finagle this thing back in here. Look, it's not gonna fit like super snug right in there. Like you go pop, you're gonna have to really just like line it up in that position right there. Put the key in the ignition after that. Put this all the way to first gear, pull the e-brake all the way to the end. This will allow you to just slide this thing right in nice and easy. And now that this key bezel's in, everything else just clips right in super easy. Like obviously you don't want to get too crazy with it, but it all fits nice and snug just like that. Now, make sure you, before you do that, you plug in your cigarette lighter wire. Otherwise you're gonna be having to take it all back out and redo it. Once this is all back in and it's nice and snug, you're going to rescrew this and then reapply the plastic piece that goes right in there. Nice and easy. Super simple. Make sure everything's good. Key back in, turn it the on position, shifter back in first, and then put that torque screw back in as well, so that this piece is nice and firm on there. You're going to see it's a little loose right now. That's because it's not screwed in. You're ready to put this back in. Best thing to do is always start right here. And then it allows you to just slide it right back in nice and easily. If you, it goes right under here. Make sure before you do that though, otherwise you're gonna be taking it apart, is reconnect this, reconnect that, and then leave the other one free for the traction control module. Put it all back together. So find which one goes to your gas tank release. Make sure that it is fed through here and then under, and then clip it back in. Otherwise you're going to find that you're not going to be able to secure this. Leave these free, put them out of the way, lift this up a little bit, give you some clearance to slide it in, and then just slide this piece in, bolt it back down, put your connectors back on. So now wrapping this up, it's pretty simple. Clip that back in, line it up like it should, set it in there. It goes in super easy. Close everything up. Make sure everything's good. Fit and finish. And you're all set. So I hope that this was helpful. Obviously, like I said before, these things are getting pretty old, so all sorts of stuff starts getting kind of wonky with them, and you gotta replace them after a while. If you have any questions, you can shoot me a message on YouTube or add something in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. So maybe we can clarify something, or maybe I can try to help you troubleshoot something, because I have a small car dealership and I do go through and buy a lot of Corvettes. So I do oftentimes have to go in and fix all sorts of different things, all the way from the wheel speed sensors to the harmonic balancer, to all the electronics in the inside of the vehicle as well. So if there's anything I can help you with, please just give me a shout.